Holliday, and this is Hi, I'm Holliday. Hi, I'm Holliday, and this is Looking Into Evil and Legos. This week we will be putting together the Lego Bonsai Tree I talked about, and murder, true crime, craziness, mental health, a lot. So here I am. Let me say this first. So basically, listen, this is my second time recording this video, and the first one was like just know the first one was wrong, and I had to redo it, so here I am redoing it. Staying dedicated. Let's begin with our story. Our story begins with a family of 3 coming back from the movie theaters and just settling, relaxing in, and a house fire starts. This family is a family of a mother and 2 sons. The oldest son sees and smells the fire. He goes to his mother's room and he finds his mother's head is caved in. So he's like, oh shit. And he goes to find his younger brother. Younger brother is now missing. So he amazingly is able to get out of the house and get help. The police come and everything. Where can I say the story really starts? This story is about Zachary Davis. If you don't know who Zachary Davis is, I'm going to tell you who he is right now. Zachary Davis is a 15-year-old mentally ill kid who was born July 27th, 1997 in Tennessee. He has a mother who is Melina Davis, and he has a father who is Chris Davis. And then his older brother is Josh Davis, who was a football player in high school. His mother is a paralegal, and she is a triathlon as well, and she works really hard for the family. Sadly, Zach's father, Chris Davis, dies from ALS, or what we all know it as Lou Gehrig's disease. He ends up passing away, and it honestly hits Zach, the youngest brother, pretty hard. Like, he was already mentally sick before it happened, but this is where he just spirals down into like his mental health. What happens is Zach, who was 15 years old, and people say that about Zach is that he was an outcast at school, and also they found out that Zach actually had a lot of apps on his phones that had to do with like serial killers and a lot of gore, and he would always make the comment, you can't have slaughter without laughter. But I feel like you can't fault him for having like serial killer stuff, because like if you was to go through my laptop, the things that I search up are crazy. So I feel like that's not at fault, but they probably were really concerned because he's actually mentally ill as well while he's searching all these things up. So we'll talk about Zach's mental health. He always had mental health issues, and they only, as I said before, only got out of control after his father passed away. His mother tried to get him help and everything. His mother actually sent him for psychiatric treatment because he would talk about how he hears voices and how he's hallucinating. And he actually told the doctors, like, hey, I'm hearing voices and they're telling me to do some pretty bad things. He would tell the doctor that the voices are telling me to kill my mother and brother, but mostly my mother. After he was evaluated, next he was sent to a center called the Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he was with Dr. I believe Bradley Freeman. And he told Dr. Freeman that I'm hearing voices and they are telling me to kill my mother. And Dr. Freeman asked him, so what are these voices telling you to actually, to actually do? And he says, they're telling me to kill my mother. And he also asks, whose voice is it? And the voice in his head, he is saying, is his father, which sucks. So after the evaluation with Dr. Freeman, Zach is diagnosed with schizophrenia and severe depression. To Dr. Freeman, Zach seemed normal and calm, but at the same time, it seemed as if he was losing it. Zach went through 2 phases, which was depression and numbness. And sadly, Zack would not reach full treatment. Zack's mother, Melina, was not able to get Zack fully treated, I believe, due to money concerns. So she had to pull him out. So Zack was honestly almost in a stage of recovery. And since he couldn't get it, since his mother pulled him out of treatment, Zack honestly started to really downward spiral after that. And she actually tried to actually get him some help, I guess, that was like cheaper or closer to home or that was in her means. And doctors would just say that he's a regular kid going through depression of losing somebody. But they knew, like the family knew, that he needed more help than what they were pretty much trying to give and say. Because Zack honestly was drowning, man. He was drowning in pain and confusion and hurt. And it's just so sad. So on that fateful night that they went to the movie, his mother, him, and his brother got home from the movie. Zack went in his room and he packed a bag with a ski mask, gloves, a claw hammer, a toothbrush, and I believe some extra clothes. It looked as if Zack was actually running away. I mean, yeah, he was running away, but he had some unfinished business to do before he ran away. And what he did is he went into the basement, got a sledgehammer, made sure his mother and his brother was asleep first, went into his mother's room, and he started to smash her head in with it. I'm sorry, I did not add a disclaimer. Warning, this is going to be a little graphic, just to let you know. So Zack takes a sledgehammer and he hits his mother in the head 10 to 20 times. And after he hit her with the sledgehammer, Zack decided, I'm gonna go clean myself up. So he went, took a shower and everything, tried to get rid of the bloody clothes, and after that he started a fire in their game room, hoping that the fire would kill his brother. But what happened is that when Zack left out the game room after starting the fire, he shut the door. So if we all know about fires, if you keep the doors in your house shut, the source of the fire contained by just a regular door, it will slow the fire down enough for people to actually be able to get out. And Zack, I guess, wasn't thinking when he did this about, like, he probably wasn't even taking a second thought about shutting the door. It probably was a habit. So he sets the fire, shuts the door, leaves the house. The brother smells the fire, wakes up. Brother goes into his mother's room, finds that her head is caved in. He's obviously shocked about it, and he goes to see if his brother is around, and he sees that his brother is missing. And he is able to actually get out the house to go to a neighbor's house. When he tells the neighbors what happened, the police show up and they start a search for his brother, basically. End up finding Zack a little closer to the home, about a mile away. And once he's arrested, once Zack is arrested, I'm sorry, I don't mean laugh. He says, I didn't feel anything when I killed her. From there, he confesses about the whole shebang. Like, why he did it, what made him do it, why did he choose a sledgehammer, everything. So basically he says that he killed his mother because his brother was sexually assaulting him. He confessed it to his mother and his mother did nothing, which later it comes out saying that they didn't find any evidence of the brother sexually assaulting him. And then another excuse was that his mom wasn't taking care of the family. And when he said that in the video, when he's explaining, he said she wasn't taking care of my family. And it makes me wonder, is it like, because I know he's mentally ill, so it makes me wonder, is a split personality happening? Because his family, as if he made the family. So I'm guessing he is assuming that he's his father in this situation or something. Like, I know that that's me speculation. That's only my opinion. Don't go off on it. And since Zack confessed, they decided to use this information as evidence in the case. Zack actually even goes back further and says that he messed up, basically. He should have killed his brother with the sledgehammer as well and then set the fire. He said that if he could go back, he wouldn't really change anything except that he would kill his brother. And he also confessed to authorities that these voices that I'm hearing are my father's voices. And I'm pretty sure Zack is saying that because he knows that he has a history of mental illness that they can track back to like doctors. Well, his doctor. During Zack's trial, he was, do the voices tell him to do specific things? He said yes. They asked who is the voice's head in your head. He says his father. And he also basically says that he listens and carry out what the voices tell him to do. And a few questions Zack answered no to as well. Like, it wasn't yes, just yes. He said no as well. And most of the questions that they asked him about being no was like, does he have any remorse about what he's done, about what he is doing, what he's going through? And the answer is no. And when they showed his mother's body on screen, Zack had no remorse about how it looked, because when you're in trial, they show the photos of the actual body at trial. And some say that he smiled, that he snickered, that he laughed about it. Even at one point, Zack tried to blame the murder of his mother on his brother, and it actually even shocked his own lawyers that he was doing this, and they were just like, what is going on? But, after his trial and everything, Zack ends up going to the Dr. Phil show. And Dr. Phil is trying to, get in, I don't want to say inside his head, but he's trying to figure out why Zack did the things he did. And he asks him a few questions. He asks him about, why did you choose the sledgehammer? And he tells Dr. Phil, I needed to make sure she was dead when I hit her. I needed to make sure the weapon of choice would kill her instantly. I didn't want any suffering. And it's like, okay. And then it goes from, oh, why did you hit her 20 times then? He said, I just wanted to make sure that she was dead. Dr. Phil asks, does he have any remorse? And he says, no, because it's just so crazy. And Dr. Phil actually asks him another question. And one question is about what did it sound like when he was hitting his mother in the head with the sledgehammer. He said it sounded like a wet thumping sound. And after a while of talking to Dr. Phil makes his assessment and just feel as if Zack is not mentally ill. He's just a lost boy. This is not the first instant where somebody says that he's lost or that he's just troubled and that his mother should have got him further help, because his grandmother actually comes out and says that he's just troubled and he just needs help. Or I think his doctor comes out and says that he's just mentally ill. But that doesn't justify murder. Like, he chose a sledgehammer to kill his mother. And we all know that she probably wasn't dead on the first swing. And I wonder if it's because of the color of his skin why they're giving him these excuses about killing his mother. Grandmother comes out and blames the mother for taking him out of treatment. And the grandmother says this is her fault and this is basically what she deserves for canceling his treatment. She deserves to be murdered by a sledgehammer because she couldn't fully get her son the help he needed. That sounds a little odd to me. I'm sorry. And I will say I missed one point, and one point I missed is that even the judge had something to say to... I will read his quote word from word. The quote says, "You became evil, Mr. Davis. You went to the dark side. It's that plain and simple." So I know I talked about Dr. Phil and I'm like jumping back and forth, but I do want to go back to the trial because the jury was very hung up on is he mentally ill or is he just a killer? Couldn't figure out if he was just deeply ill and if he had any remorse. But after seeing Zack in person and him testifying, they realized that he's mentally ill, but at the end of the day, he doesn't have remorse. Like, he's not sorry for anything he's done. After the trial and after a few words from the judge, Zack is sentenced to life in prison. No shock. Zack was sentenced to life in prison, but in Tennessee, if you do a minimum of 60 years, that counts as life in prison. Zack won't get out until he's at least 51 years old, but I don't even think he's gonna get out because, the co-ed killer, Ed Kemper, he recently was up for parole, but they quietly denied it and swept it under the rug. We'll talk about Ed Kemper one day, but back to Zack. So Zack is sentenced to life in prison And he'll basically be released when he's 51 years old. And that will be that. Hopefully he gets the help he needs in prison. And that's it. I truly do feel sorry for Zach's brother, Josh, because he had to live through everything that went on. Basically, the trial, the death of his mother, the house burning down. But yeah, sad. So we are now finished our bonsai tree. Hey! And I'm so happy. This thing is amazing. We did it, guys. Listen, this bonsai tree has caused me a lot of hell. No lie. But yeah, so now the bonsai tree is finished. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be here next week with a new story and a new craft. See you guys later. Bye.